First of all, good afternoon. I want to thank all the response from the media. Thank you for being here. I just wanted to provide an update and let people know, the general public and our people know the situation, how we're dealing with it. Throughout this last week, we have been meeting with First Nation leaders in various levels of government to determine action for isolated and remote communities affected by the winter road state of emergency. This morning, Chief McDougall, Chief Nutt, and I met with Indian and Northern Affairs. INAC, which is Indian and Northern Affairs, they have agreed to work with the leadership to come up with immediate funding to address this crisis situation. If the dam breaks during a flood, do you work out the cost of rebuilding it, or do you take immediate action? That's how we had to state it to them. Thankfully, INAC has heard the concerns of leadership and has agreed to take action. There are many parties involved in the winter road system, including First Nation, federal, and provincial governments, and private business. The Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs has offered to bring all parties together to coordinate efforts to manage this crisis. This process was highly successful during the H1N1 crisis last spring and summer. For during a crisis, we must ensure communication and the coordination of efforts. We must all work together to come up with a successful and expedient solution because time is of the essence. People's lives are at risk here. As we speak, there are First Nation members and some truckers stranded on the winter roads. Communities are sending helicopters to help them. And we also understand that many of our people and others are still insisting that they travel on the winter roads. We ask that we discourage that. We ask that you stay away from the winter roads. They're not reliable, and you put your lives at risk. We especially ask commercial business not to capitalize on this crisis by increasing prices during this emergency situation. Let's work together and let's not take advantage of those that are so severely disadvantaged already. A winter road crisis management team will meet every second day commencing on Monday. Included will be the chiefs of the affected communities, MKIO Grand Chief David Harper, the heads of the tribal councils, and the federal and the provincial government departments. As far as non-emergency supplies go, we must find a solution as well. Without building supplies, for instance, no new homes can be built to ease the already overcrowding that exists. That creates a perfect breeding ground for TB, the TB epidemic that is already sweeping this province. Without fuel, food prices rise. Nursing stations and schools must close down, and people already living in poverty become even more disadvantaged. First Nations have been warning about climate change and the winter road season for years already. Government policies means communities do not get approvals early enough to order and ship goods until it is too late, as late as January, before they get the approvals, leaving them little time to ship the goods. There is a lot of work that needs to be done to prevent such crises, including changing government policy. The federal and provincial government must work with First Nation leadership on prevention, and don't just work with us when it's time to react. Let's work together on prevention. Those are our comments to you and to those that will be that are taking an interest on the emergency situation that's been created by the early shutdown of the winter roads. So with that, I'll take questions